We often think of trauma as something personal, something that happens to individuals. But what happens when a whole community, a whole culture, experiences a deeply wounding event? What happens when the pain of the past echoes through generations? This is the territory of cultural trauma. It's a wound that affects not just individuals, but the very fabric of a society. Cultural trauma runs deep. It shapes the way people see themselves, their communities, and the world around them. Understanding cultural trauma is essential for understanding the challenges that many communities face. It allows us to see beyond individual suffering and recognize the shared pain that binds people together. Cultural trauma occurs when a group of people experience a horrific event that shatters their shared sense of identity and security. This event could be war, genocide, slavery, displacement, or any other form of systematic oppression or violence. What makes cultural trauma unique is its collective nature. It's not just about individual experiences, but about a shared wound that impacts the entire group. This wound can manifest in many ways, from increased rates of mental health issues to social and political instability. The legacy of slavery in the United States is a stark example of cultural trauma. The systematic dehumanization and brutality inflicted upon African Americans continue to have a profound impact on their communities today. Another example is the cultural trauma experienced by indigenous communities worldwide due to colonization. The loss of land, language, and cultural practices has created deep wounds that continue to affect generations. These examples highlight the long-lasting and pervasive effects of cultural trauma. Section 4. The inheritance of trauma from one generation to the next. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of cultural trauma is its transmission across generations. Children of traumatized parents and communities often inherit the emotional and psychological scars of the past. This can happen through various mechanisms, including intergenerational transmission. Parents who have experienced trauma may unconsciously pass on their emotional patterns and coping mechanisms to their children. Epigenetics. Trauma can actually alter gene expression, making future generations more susceptible to its effects. Social and cultural narratives. The stories, beliefs, and behaviors that communities develop in response to trauma can perpetuate its impact over time. Section 5. Healing the collective, addressing cultural trauma. Addressing cultural trauma is essential for the healing and well-being of communities. It requires acknowledging the historical wounds, creating spaces for shared grief and mourning, and fostering resilience and collective empowerment. Recognizing and validating the experiences of those affected is crucial. This involves listening to their stories, honoring their pain, and working together to create a more just and equitable future. Healing cultural trauma is not about forgetting the past. It's about learning from it and building a better future for generations to come.